So I work with a real estate company called PGS Realty, and it's very important if you're doing a relocation tour and seeing real estate that the person that's taking you to see real estate works for a real estate company, a licensed real estate broker. So one of the most important things that you can do before your tour is make sure that the person that you're going to go with is either a licensed broker or is working for a licensed broker. That's very important. It's if you're doing a tour, any kind of relocation tour, seeing real estate with someone that is not affiliated with a licensed broker, then that's where issues could arise.
So guys, we're back with a friend, now family, quite frankly. You know, you have those people that you do business with and it goes well, right? And then they go from your client or your customer or vice versa to, you know, a friend and then family. And I honestly, Sheree and I both consider Mike Kelly a part of our family. Ladies and gentlemen, my guy, Mike Kelly. Mike, listen. I have gone on and on and on about how much your company has helped us make relocating to Panama as easy as possible. You told us in the very beginning, nothing is going to go the way you planned it. Yeah. So just be prepared to make certain adjustments. Exactly. And when it comes to relocating, obviously we've never done this before. Sheree is a licensed realtor in the U.S., so we understand what that looks like in the U.S. Can you talk to us just a little bit about who you are, what you do, why you do it, and kind of who your target client is? Who are you doing this for? And let's get into some common myths and things about when people relocate from one country to another. Let's talk about commissions, kickbacks, and all those kinds of terminologies that people, you know, maybe throw around loosely. And let's unpack some of that for people today.
Yeah, thanks, Glenn. I appreciate that intro. It's, you know, what I do is relocation. So, you know, I help people through the process of moving from wherever they are in the United States, Canada, wherever it might be, and moving their whole life here to Panama. Yep. And there's a lot that goes into that, you know, and it's from the very beginning, that first phone call, and just planning the trip, getting a tour set up to the end result. And so I do private relocation tours. My company is VIP Relocation Tours Panama. And a big part of that is helping you find a place to live, you know. So, you know, we were around Panama City. Seems like it took us a long time. Yeah. But we found the perfect place for you guys to be in that you guys liked. And, you know, that was my goal.
You know, it's funny. I'm a quick aside from that. Yeah. So where we're broadcasting from, part of the reason we said yes to this building, Sheree and I wanted to live in the city. Yeah. We wanted to be immersed in the culture. We didn't want to live in a resort-like environment. Yeah. But more importantly, it was important for us to live in a city environment that felt like a neighborhood and also had the ability for us to work. And so this place that we're broadcasting live is actually in the building that Sheree and I live in, and it's a WeWork type space, a co-working space in the building that we live in. And I think you said this might be one of two places like that.
One or two that I know.
With that being said, when you relocate from the U.S., Canada, anywhere abroad, international, and come here to Panama, what are some common things that people need to be thinking about right off the break?
You know, where do you want to live? Obviously, you know, there are a few options here in Panama, you know, so important is to get down here and check it out, right? So, you know, you have the mountain town of Boquete, you've got the beach town of Coronado, you've got Panama City. You know, the best thing that you can do is, as an exploratory trip, to come down and identify, okay, I want to live here. Yeah. Where exactly do I want to live? So, you know, you guys came down here. We went to the beach.
We
went
did.
to Coronado. We checked that out.
By the way, the sands are hotter than any.
Yeah, they got hot sand. It's hot.
Jesus.
If you don't, if you don't want to be on the beach every single day, then that might not be the place.
Right.
But what do we have here in the city? You have a lively city. This is kind of like where everything happens. You have the best restaurants.
Yeah.
You've got coffee shops. You've got Casco Viejo. So it's
unreal.
It's a really amazing city. And I live a little bit outside the city, but I prefer to spend my time here just because of everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Right. So to answer your question, okay, first of all, where do you want to live? Where can you imagine spending your days here in Panama, because you're moving from a completely different world?
And so I was appreciative of how you very meticulously walked us through. And you kept saying, even when we were in the States, guys, I know you're excited about this place. I know it looks good on video. I'll go take a tour and video you in, but it's nothing like you putting your eyes on. How important would you say it is for people to literally, and we did do that. We came down about 5 months ago on vacation. And over 10 days, you took us to about 8 different properties. So we did get a feel for how important it is for people to put their eyes on.
It's super important. And that's, first is finding the city you want to live in, then it's the place to live.
Yeah.
So that's a whole different deal.
Yeah.
And that's going to, first, okay, we went and saw that unit.
Beautiful unit.
But you weren't here.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I wasn't.
You were still in the States. So I went and I filmed it.
Yep.
And I did that, and you guys got to see it from there. But when you got here,
listen, and Mike, when you filmed it, I never will forget. At the time, we were in Atlanta, and we were not far from coming here, and we were sitting pulled over the side of the road. Cherie and I was like, "That's it. That's the place, y'all. That is it."
When you hear people refer to a real estate tour,
yes,
right? So when I do a real estate tour, okay, what it is whether you're here or not, I'm going to show you the places that I think you would like, right? And that's because I know your taste, right? So we spent time together.
Yep.
So now I have a pretty good idea of what you guys want. So now, even when you're not here, I can go somewhere and say, okay, Glenn and Cherie are going to love this, or this is completely out of the question. They're not even going to consider this, or maybe this would be it. So that one in particular, I went in there and there was the smell of like something recently painted and some other things, and I was thinking, okay, this could work.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but I need them to come see this.
Let me stop you there because, guys, let me say this. When you work with someone who is really good at what they do, they're not going to waste time. And one of the things I loved about working with Mike's company is that he didn't waste time getting to the nuts and bolts of really what we wanted. But he kept being really insistent about the idea and just, all things fair. Cherie and I planned to come here and live in an Airbnb for about 2 weeks while we really diligently and no holds barred search for our place. That doing business here in Panama is different, but there are a lot of similarities. I want to get into a little bit of the nuts and bolts. And so, can you break down for us, like cost-wise, because people are going to want to know, like, how does Mike get paid? How does his company get paid? Is that expensive? It sounds, maybe without our reach or whatever the case may be. Can you break that down for me, Mike?
Sure. Yeah, so when you do a tour with me, I will charge you for the tour, right? And the price really depends on what we're going to be doing. So there are a couple of different factors that could affect the price. One is the time.
Got it.
Right? Part of a relocation tour, there are different parts, but a relocation tour includes healthcare and real estate. So, there are some myths about a real estate tour. And a real estate tour is just, another way to say a private relocation tour where you're going to see real estate. Yeah. So, part of what we do is a real estate tour where, like I did with you guys, we take you to find the perfect place. Now, what we do, so I personally work with a licensed real estate broker. Okay. And I have worked with this broker for the last 3 years. And so the reason for that is that integrity for us is key, and, we don't want people to think, the word kickback is thrown around a lot in real estate. Some people are, it's been said that, to be careful about real estate tours because your guide might be getting kickbacks and you're paying more than you should, and, I think that the meaning of that can be misunderstood.
Yep.
So when you do a real estate tour with us, we take you to find the best place for you to live. Rental properties based on your requirements, and we make a commission based on the real estate laws here in Panama.
Yeah.
Right. And the way it works here in Panama, if you're renting a property, when you sign your lease, you pay first month and deposit.
Right.
Okay, that's standard. Everything can be negotiated. So, if there's certain circumstances where you can actually get your rent down by paying 3 months, or paying 4 months, or 6.
Right.
There are different things that you can do to get your rental rate down, but that's all about the negotiation between the real estate agents that are helping you.
Yeah.
Right. And that's part of what we do. We tell you kind of what your options are and in different ways that you can save money. But standard is 1 month in deposit. Okay.
One of the things that I want to make sure people are clear on, you guys, is that just like in the U.S., you're not going to get a real estate professional on any level. When we lived in Atlanta, Georgia, we rented our home. When that lease came up, as a matter of fact, the owner was selling the house. We didn't want to buy it, so we decided to move. We hired a real estate agent to find us another home to rent. Yeah. Here in Panama, Sheree and I opted, partially because of our visa status, until that's complete, we opted to rent a condo. They call apartments, very similar to New York and Miami. They call them apartments, but please understand, they're very much condominiums. And the deal is that we committed to a year lease. I want you to kind of really help people to understand, once you identify where you want to live, and then you decide, what part of the city or whatever, when it comes to, apartment living or condo living or city living, what are some things, like in the U.S. with the HOA fees and things like, what are some common things that you can kind of really wrap your mind around focusing on here in Panama?
Yeah, so what's usually included? So let's say your rent is $1,500 a month.
Yeah.
So that when you're renting, the HOA fee is included in that $1,500. Okay. Pretty much standard in Panama City, and it can vary a little outside, and it's not always like this, but usually the $1,500 a month will include your water bill and your gas bill.
Got it.
Outside of that, you're going to pay for your electricity and your cable and internet. So that's usually how it works.
Got it.
So standard, electricity, what's going to drive that bill up is how much you use the air conditioning. If you're using AC 24/7, it might be a little bit higher, but you're going to look at anywhere from $75 to $200 a month in electricity. Yeah. Depending on your AC usage. Yeah. Right. Your internet and cable will be around 40, 45, 50 a month. Yeah. Okay. For high speed internet and cable. So those are usually your standard costs. So kind of count on that above what you're going to pay in rent. And what you pay in rent is always listed. So when we find a property, it's going to have, let's say, $1,500 a month. In this market, there's still wiggle room to negotiate. So in most cases, you can negotiate a little bit, and your agent is going to be the one that does that. So when you do a real estate tour with us, the benefit that you have is that you're represented by a licensed broker, and the broker is going to represent you in the transaction. So, you have to be careful going to any country on who you deal with. Right. If you just show up and talk to the first guy you see who says he's a real estate broker, but don't have any references, you haven't heard it, you haven't talked to anyone that's actually recommended him, then you could have some problems. And I think that could be said for anywhere.
Absolutely.
And it's the same here, right?
I think that when you start talking about those problems, and even as we wrap up, one of the biggest things I want you guys to kind of take away from this is that you're moving to a different country. One of the benefits of working with Mike is not only will he negotiate on your behalf, but he also is bilingual. His wife is Panamanian. You know, when he looks at these contracts, you're able to see, because most of them are going to be written in Spanish. Yeah. You're going to have to get that translated. Sometimes you may have to pay somebody to do that. Yeah. And there's so many different. Can you talk a little bit about some of the peripheral things that people get when they hire your company?
Yeah, exactly. That's one of them. Contract review. You know, that's very important that you have someone that has experience that's looking over those contracts. We always recommend too to have your lawyer take a quick look at it. You know, which, you know, it's the more eyes on it, the better.
Yep.
But that's something that we do as part of the service.
Yeah.
Right? I will actually, you know, help you when you're not here. I will go and look at properties just like I did for you guys, and take a video of it and send it to you. So I try as much as I can to make it feel like you're actually there. Mm-hmm. You know, and so, you know, we can be looking before you get here.
Yeah.
You know, which is nice.
Yeah.
And it, you know, when you work with us, our priority is just really to do everything possible to get you the right place.
Yeah.
So we'll look at as many as we have to until we find the right one. And sometimes, you know, we thought we had it for you guys. We got here, it wasn't the one, but we kept looking.
But we kept looking.
So it's, you know, it's part of what we do. The fact that we are licensed real estate brokers, working on this for you, representing you. And one thing, you know, always be wary of, you know, if you're working with a private guide that's not affiliated with a licensed broker, you know, and they say, you know, you might hear, you know, that they're not taking kickbacks, and kickbacks is a word that has kind of a negative connotation. It's really another way to say like a finder's fee, but it kind of connotates like working under the table. If you're not working with a licensed broker, then the person that's taking you, if it's, you know, if it's a private tour guide, they're getting paid under the table is most likely what's happening, even if they don't tell you that they are. So, you know, don't think that because, you know, you're not working with a broker that you're somehow in a better position, because you don't have that representation.
Yeah.
You don't have someone that's looking out for your interests.
Absolutely.
I've worked with a lot of people, and you know, as you guys know, we do everything just is
so far above and beyond board is crazy. And I think that for Cherie and I, that's the thing that gave us sort of the solace of saying, nah, we're good. And I want to encourage people to definitely, you know, use you guys for that reason. Yeah. One last thing I do want you to speak to, Mike, a little bit, and that is when it comes to, and I said this in a video that I did there's VIP services and then there's VIP experiences. And as far as we're concerned, Cherie and I got an experience with Mike and his company, and things that we didn't think about, like he brought to the table, hey, you may want to consider this, or you may want to think about that. And I think about things like, you know, the neighborhood itself. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, how conducive is that to what you want to do? Yeah. Are there anything else, Mike, before we get out of here, that you really want people to walk away with and understand sort of the inner workings and feel comfortable when they're choosing to literally make a life-changing decision like moving abroad?
Yeah, I don't know. You know, it's hard to put in the words sometimes. Like the comprehensive service that is our goal.
Yeah.
You know, for me, helping people relocate really is a passion. You know, it's something I've been doing for almost 4 years. You know, really full time helping people move here. And, you know, the experience that I've had really has, you know, given me just the best idea of like everything that goes into this, right? So, you know, we really just try to like get everything taken care of, from where you live to your health care, you know, legal, immigration, you know, whatever we can do to really kind of like, you know, wrap that up.
Yeah, I just think that one of the things we're trying to convey is, and we have a whole community of people that kind of trust what we say. Yeah. They watching what we do. And I just want to ensure to you guys, whether y'all are coming whether it's Panama or wherever, find a trusted source of somebody that you are willing to work with so that you can really get things done.
I would say, you know, you can go online and a good source of information is Facebook, for example, Facebook groups, and YouTube and different places. And you get really useful information there. But you do have to take everything that you hear there with a grain of salt.
Absolutely.
Right? I think the most important thing that anyone could, if I could give anyone like the best advice, is talk to other people that have gone through the process. You know, if you're worried about taking a real estate tour, you know, talk to someone that has taken a real estate tour. If you're really, you know, worried about a relocation tour with healthcare, like, you know, talk to someone that's done it. Get like feet on the ground experience, you know, and really try to understand how it's been for other people that have gone through it, because they're the ones that are going to tell you, you know, hey, like it was a good experience working with Mike was great. Or don't work with this guy, or you know, I overpaid for this. I mean,
absolutely.
I think talking to people that have gone through it is the best thing that you can do, and it's easy to find those people.
Yeah, and when just, you know, to shout out your Facebook community, one of the things that we found out really quickly that, you know, there's some 3,000 people or whatever in that community, and what's funny is how engaging these people are. People want you to know the deal. Yeah. All you got to do is ask the question, and you find the right people who've gone through it. Y'all already know how we feel. You know that we all need some help. Like, you got to figure out how do you connect those dots.
Yeah, and you're in my group. My Facebook group is Panama City Expats and Locals, and it's really just all encompassing. You know, any information you need, not only about Panama City, but anywhere in Panama, any subject, any issue. You can get into the group and ask your question. You're going to get a lot of good information, and you know, you can always contact me.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, that's a way to really, you know, I'm always available. You know, part of what we do, part of the relocation service is getting on a call with me. We do a totally free initial consultation because I want to figure out what you need. Like, it's, you know, not every tour is the same. They're all completely different. So what we do are customized tours, and it's going to be 100% based on what you want to do. Hence
the name VIP. Y'all, let me say this again. We got an experience that, quite frankly, I want to make sure that if you're anybody considering coming to Panama, to use Mike's company to do it. We're going to link it in the descriptions below, all of his information where you can contact him. And feel free to do it. If you're going to be in Panama to visit, you know, hit us up, let us know. Mike also can coordinate, you know, little individual tours, and we've got people who can do those kinds of things for you. And maybe you want to do a quick, like we did. We came here for 10 days on a vacation, brought the co-parents, and man, in those 10 days, Mike owned 3 of them. And I promise y'all, we went to more places and saw more neighborhoods that we could consider moving to. It set it up so that it would make it real easy for us, that in those 5 months that it took for us to come back, to figure out where we want. So that once we got here, within 2 weeks, we found our spot. And I promise you, it's been a dream. Here's what I know to be true. You cannot get to any place of significance by yourself, because we all need some help. Y'all make sure y'all click the like button, subscribe to the channel. We'll be back next week with another video on what it looks like to live liberated with the Brookses. Y'all be good, and we'll talk soon.